right here because of stupid perms. Um, I have an idea that we could use rubber and the nitrogen crystals found at the bottom of the ocean floor and extract them with this and put it through these rubber vinyl tubes that shrink in and out. And the reason is that we want to pull out those molecules and pull them apart. That the rubber actually adheres to the potassium and hydrogen molecules, whatever molecules are there, and tries to pull them apart. Meanwhile, it freezes it down, compresses it with air to stop it from vibrating, and pulls molecules apart. Is it safe? Is it not? Well, I need a team. And the reason I need a team is because I don't know it all. I don't. End of story. I know my machines. Chemistry, molecular research, all that. It's kind of iffy, if you get it. And yes, as I said in my description, with what I know, in contrast to how easy it is to solve the world's problems, I have every right to be crazy. I'm actually kind of pissed about it that I'm just sitting alone by myself without a house and anything. It'd be pretty damn cool to get some help and set this world up in the right direction. We had a possible amendment of peace with Russia and the United States, where a man in Minnesota had a pig transplant surgery and he died 2 years later after it failed. Now, there was, in the USSR Cold War, there was a dog head transplant. Very dark. It's very morbid research, but that's medical history for you, and do not get high when studying it. I did. Worst mistake you could possibly make. Don't. Like, yabba dabba, don't. But, because it was so traumatizing, I did remember a lot of the information. Now, this is a great learning tool here. That it was scary, but it was consumable. Now, most people are like, oh my gosh. I'm like, actually, yes. If you're scared about your research and you're still interested, you're going to remember it. Like, if I were to trip and fall into a hole, I'm going to remember that hole. This is a great educational tool. It's fear. Now, we can harness that, but would you want to? You gotta make it negotiable. Or, you want to. Okay, yes or no. It's probably the most ultimate way to learn something. Alright, and back in history, there was the Tesla coil, and bah! It's like, okay, now you're gonna fucking remember that shit. You're gonna remember it because you're gonna think something's gonna come up. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. There's a lot of people who eat popcorn to that type of crap. Okay, so it's like, there's a crowd that will actually do this. And it's for the thrill. And they're going to remember so much of it that it gets it done. There's a lot of parts of the brain you can trigger for these educational systems to work a lot better. Yeah, hitting the reward center or something perverted, I guess that was a bit iffy to some, but it's the same thing. It's hitting certain pieces of the brain that okay, I like this. And the chances of you wanting more is going to be pretty damn easy to see. But if it's too distracting, like, obviously, no. No, that garbage. Plastic Beach. Now, if you saw what I had for compressing carbon matter, I already just solved Plastic Beach's issue. Regardless of removing the carbon matter. I don't have pollution. with removing that crap. That's very important to point out there. That I just contained all the smoke and compressed it down into construction materials at that. That actually could have been used and remove that. And I'm still sitting here without a job. I'm still sitting here bitching at senior workers at Burger King who have said, why do you get to be supervisor? And I've established seniority. I turn around and tell them, because when you have seniority, you have remained stagnant. And so you're there permanent. That's why you're senior. It's literally the foundation of being a seniority worker. So you're not getting anywhere. And if you got a flex float that takes over the entire restaurant, and you're going to bully him, he's going to quit his job. What I wanted was family. What I wanted was a team. What I wanted was friends. Instead, I get crap. Absolute crap. It's really a cry for help. That within these 2 video uploads, I just made a new renewable energy source with piezoelectric electricity that I know that in the right hands is going to cause a landslide. Landslides. Back to that weather array. You get my drift. Another thing of the past. We have a volcano that could erupt because the tectonic plates are being pressed down. I just solved that with that ice age in Antarctica using hydrogen power. The hydrogen is a non-noble gas, so when it's burnt, it's going to combine to the oxygen molecules and turn into a cloud. It's going to freeze it out. And yes, that's what we need to do. Now, the petroleum fuels that is there, well, you have electricity to burn it down. You have the Tesla towers. You have automated windmills I just built, so you can propel all of the petroleum that was burnt up and put it into one area. Now, most people be like that. It's incredible that self-sustaining windmills can funnel all of the world's pollution into one place and burn it up with lightning. This is how incredible I am. Like, I could easily, with the help of the proper communities, fix, as a team, a lot of the world's problems. I love drawing together. I don't have no one. Everyone's like, you need to go to college. Why don't I go to college? I know the trick. That unless I get an individualized approach where I don't have to have textbooks, I go into auditing. And I know how to shrink assets to myself by looking for suppliers outsourced to shrink on profits used. However, what they're trying to say in the textbook is no. 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 It's not education. I'm not playing around with that shit. Like, I don't want to do that. It's because I'm going to start using drugs. Actually, this shit's made fun of in college. Because people realize, holy shit, this is so that you can't learn anything, right? I'm just saying. I don't mean to bash everybody's business. Actually, I do. I don't like it. Why don't you just take one person and let him give him a fucking excuse? Because he's got the shit. He's got the fucking shit. He's got the pants. The fuck's a piece of paper for? Give the man what he needs. That blood transfusion machine I brought up in my first video upload, well, that was a cure to everything. I wanted to keep it to myself, but no, it actually is a sit-down chair people go into and they get unsick. I kid you not. That even cancer. You think that's an issue for me? That in the proper hands that I could easily deal with that? If I just cured AIDS by upgrading a blood transfusion machine, caused a three-way handshake with nanotech, viral genetic rewrites, and the transfusion machines between three businesses that would have the potential to cure all diseases. Now, cancer is the only issue. What's the issue at hand is the tumor. Nanotech, are you serious? It's still a problem? Come on now. That I have to look at the news and say, hey, baby fetuses are against God for stem cell research. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you cure all to everything. And wait, it's not just babies. I'm a donor. That comes out of my bone marrow. So I'm seeing my skeleton being thrown into a pile, unused. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, they're blaming it on baby fetuses. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know how far I've researched scams in my country, but pretty damn far. We had an issue with animal testing, and Roundup couldn't animal test for product safety. Some dumbass accidentally put I think it was hydrogen chloride or sodium hydrofluoride product into Roundup. And any cocaine farmer would tell you exactly what's going to happen here. You put a sodium hydrofluoride product into a pesticide. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to go everywhere. It's exactly what happened. That's basically cocaine floating off in the air. And I don't have to listen to see what it was. I have to hear the reaction. It got exposed to sunlight and went everywhere. And I'm looking at the decision of animal testing, and everybody's dependent on one thing. I'm going to continue this video again.